Hey guys, Jen here. I'm going to give you guys a minute to join in, and I hope that you guys are looking forward to this class as much as I am, and that you will participate and share your thoughts. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to just go ahead and get started. Whether you're on this live class or whether you're watching the replay, I hope that you gather some pretty useful information that you can apply in your lives. And something I'd like to start off with today is really just setting your intention, right? So oftentimes we go through life and we're more of in a reactive state versus an active state, meaning that we wait to see what life throws at us. We aren't necessarily empowered in that we make the choices in how we want to live our life and how we want to feel. And so I really want to ask you to just set your intention for this time in what do you want to get out of this class. We're talking mood, emotions, and essential oils. So we're going to talk about how can we change our state of being from a negative place where we feel disempowered, that we don't have any control, that we're lacking the energy and the self-esteem, the confidence to move forward into what we really want to be doing, right? And we are going to figure out, how do we go from that disempowered state to a more empowered state where we get to choose how we want to feel? Hi, Jen. So engage with me during this time, whether, like I said, whether you're on this class live or whether you're watching this replay. I want to hear from you. Leave a comment, leave your questions. If I don't have the opportunity to address them now during the call, because I do have quite a bit of information to cover, I will answer those questions, whether it be later, whether it be on a blog post, whether it be on another video, because there are some pretty heavy things we're going to be covering, and I really want you to get the most information without being too overwhelmed. So we may have to split some of this in two. So if you're ready, I'm ready, and I'm going to go to my notes because I don't want to miss anything. And at the same time, I want this to feel like a conversation that we're sitting together and we're just talking, right? We're comfortable, we're talking. Some of this stuff may feel heavy, and that's okay. We're allowed to feel those emotions. And then the idea is just honoring those emotions, but not getting stuck in them and really moving past them. So it's funny because when I was getting ready this morning, I usually go through, I don't know the wording for it, but I have certain steps that I take before I get on this call. And one of those things is I sit down. I'm a gemstone, crystal kind of gal. I love the energies of the stones, and I believe in being empowered by choice, and I think that's all mindset, and the stones give me that mindset. Certain stones like rose quartz invites a feeling of love, and so I sit down with my stones, and I have my meditation, and I have my oils. Usually the oil that I choose before I get on these calls is part of this yoga collection. This lighting makes it where you can't see, but hey, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. So anyway, it's the yoga collection, and it's the Align. And I feel like it promotes a feeling of just being in alignment with who I am and what I'm here for and how I can be in best of service to others. And so that's one of the ways that we can really get into a state of being, that we can change our mindset, right? That we can change our emotions, is understanding that we are empowered, understanding that we are in control of how we want to look at something, how we want to choose to think, right? Our brain and our mind are two completely different things. And I just want you to remember that, right? We have a choice in how we want to feel. We can reframe the way that we think about something. So, for example, this morning, I homeschool my kids. You guys know this, right? I have 3 still at home. I've got an older daughter. And, and let me go there real quick because some of you are new to me. And so let me just introduce myself. So I am Jennifer Lewis, and I am the founder of Nourish the Gift, wellness and holistic weight loss for busy women. And my title is holistic health coach, mom, wife, friend, aunt, so on and so forth. Plus I'm a founder of an animal sanctuary, Hillside Haven. And those are my titles, but is that who I am? No. I am a woman just like you who has had struggles, who used to be 70 pounds overweight, and really had to uncover why. Why did I have that weight? What did that keep me safe from? And I really had to unlock those things. And, you know, some of it was an unhealthy body, and I used foods and essential oils to get me past the detox and the buildup of the gunk that's in my body, and just didn't allow my body to release the weight. But so much of it was mindset, right? And so that's what we're going to concentrate on. So moving forward, my kiddos this morning, I homeschool. So I also work these businesses from home, so they're constantly wanting my attention, and I deal with mom guilt, as I'm sure you do, right, at times. And give me a thumbs up. Yes, yeah, we all do. That we think we should be doing something differently. We think that we should be doing something better. And we create these stories in our minds. And so this morning, my little one needed help with her math. And I knew I had to be on this call. And so I started to feel like, gosh, what kind of mom are you? How can you not sit down and take all the time? Yeah, yes, exactly, Jen. How can you not take the time right now to do this with your child? You signed up for this, right? So I started having all these disempowered thoughts in my head, and that's just not the reality, because yes, I am my children's mother. Yes, I homeschool them. But they have so much of my time that it's okay for them to wait just a few minutes while mommy does what she had planned to do, right? And that's going to lead us into something that I would like to talk about today, and that is really just living our truth, living in what feels good to us, what sets our soul on fire. And if we're not doing those things, it brings our emotional state down, right? So for me personally, I feel at my best when I'm exercising, when I'm eating right, when I'm filling my spiritual cup, whatever that is for you, whether it's yoga, meditation, church, whatever that is for you. But for me, I thrive when I go to church and hear those positive messages and feel that positive energy from others. I thrive and I feel so much better when I'm helping others, when I'm in service to others. And if you guys have ever heard that before, if you're having a bad day, all you need to do is go do something nice for somebody. Think about that. How much better do you feel when you're serving others, when you're doing something good for somebody else? So, yeah. Okay, so moving on. So let's talk about concrete steps that you can take to help yourself improve your mood, improve your emotions, and really truly feel the way that you want to feel. So one of the very first steps is nutrition, right? You guys will hear me say that over and over and over and over and over again until I turn blue in the face. Because if your body is not functioning optimally, right? Specifically your gut. Let's go to your gut because that's where I specialize in. That if our gut is a mess, we feel terrible. I mean, I've worked with clients where they were just in excruciating pain because their gut was imbalanced. I've worked with kids and adults that because their gut was imbalanced, they just couldn't focus. They could not keep their mind on what was in front of them. And I know we live in a time where we're constantly being distracted. Everybody's trying to get our attention. And so how much more important is it that we take care of our gut? Because it will affect our mind. It will give us the energy. It will, if it's not in working order, we're going to have the brain fog. We're going to have food sensitivities, right? So first step first is nutrition. And so for me personally, my nutrition, and this is not for everybody, this has to be for you, is there is no one size fits all way of eating. And so personally, for me, I follow a whole foods plant-based diet that is low. I don't really eat any grains, very little fruit, very little sugar, and mostly high fat and lots of greens. And that's what works for me. So for you, you really just take the time, what works for you, and think about when you've eaten certain foods, how do you feel afterwards? When you've had that piece of cake, how do you feel afterwards? Chances are you don't feel very well. And that's the effect that food has on us. It can really make us feel pretty crappy, right? So really just choosing, one of the key things that you choose is whole foods, meaning really just an apple is an apple. That's a whole food, right? An apple pie, not so much, right? So just choosing whole foods, the way it came from the earth, and doing your best to try to cook your meals. If you do green juices or smoothies, try to make it lower in sugar so that it doesn't spike your blood sugar, because then what happens, it feeds gut dysbiosis. It spikes the sugar, and then you have the crash, and so you're constantly in this state like this. And that all plays an effect on our moods and our emotions, right? And then one of the best things that you can do for yourself is really just supplementing with a quality mineral vitamin. A lot of my clients are low in some of the feel-good vitamins like magnesium, zinc, B vitamins. And so really, ideally, we get it from our foods, but our food is just not what it used to be, right? It's being shipped all over the place. It's being processed, and the soil is not the quality that it used to be. So really, supplementation is something that is extremely helpful. And because this is a doTERRA class, I am a huge fan of the lifelong vitality. For my own self, the nutrition, the supplementation, and the oils helped me to get off of a medication that I was prescribed for over 10 years. And I was able to take myself off of that using nutrition, using the supplements, using the oils. Now, I have to say, if that is something that you do, you need to work very closely with your doctors, because your body has become dependent on those, and you don't want to end up in a worse situation. So for sure, work with your doctors if you choose to do that, okay? So supplementing with the lifelong vitalities, big bonus. And then let's talk about bacteria. So the bacteria in our gut gets overgrown, right? Most ideally is that we're in constant balance, right? So that we have the good bacteria, we have the bad bacteria, which is not really bad bacteria at all, is beneficial when in balance. Keyword being in balance, right? And so unfortunately, because of stress, because of the foods we eat, because of overuse of antibiotics, our guts are just not in balance. The not so great bacteria is taking over the good bacteria. And so what we want to do is just replenish the healthy bacteria in our gut. And one of the ways we can do that is by eating fermented foods. And then one of the more simple ways, if you're not a huge fan, which guiltily, I'm not a huge fan of fermented foods. I would love to tell you that I am, but it's not my thing. So I take a probiotic, and there's a couple of options. I personally, I do take a probiotic that has 20 billion microorganisms that replenishes my gut. And then doTERRA does have the PB Assist that you can take that is actually pretty cool, because it's the way that it's capsulated, it gets down into the gut where it needs to be, which is kind of fun, because otherwise it just goes and it doesn't make it down into the gut where the majority of the bacteria is. Okay, so now let's talk about lifestyle. So you guys, if you've been following me, you know I am all about being an empowered woman, right? Choosing the life we want, choosing how we want to feel, and how do we get those things? And we get those things by lifestyle choices, right? And this is a little side story here. Recently, I had to take a step back from animal rescue. So I jumped both feet in because I just adore the animals. I love the pigs. I had no idea their personality. And, you know, first came a little Potbelly, and then came Miss Piggy. She's this enormous farm pig who is just as loving, just as sweet, just as personable. She's crazy, right? She has so much personality. And so I jumped in full feet, not knowing what I was going into. I'm loving, I'm happy, I'm kind to people. I don't feel the need to tear anybody down. You know, I see the good in things. And so I jumped in both feet. That's what we do. We think other people are going to be the same as us. And so I jumped in thinking everybody was the same way. Of course we are, right? We're all in animal rescue. Of course we have pure hearts and kind minds. Well, it's not always like that. So because I want to be in control of how I feel, I made the decision to step back, right? Step back because I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to be around people that make me feel a certain way. And the thing about people is it's not about us, right? The way they treat us is not about me. It's not about us. It's not about whether they like you or not, right? It's about their own projections, their own insecurities. But here's the thing. We get to choose if we want to help somebody work through that, or if we want to just take a step back and say, you know, that relationship is really toxic, and what can I do? You know, if it's your friend since childhood, or your cousin, or your brother, or your sister, or your husband, or your wife if you're a man, right? We got some guys on here. Sometimes you feel like you can't remove yourself from that situation, but you can still reframe and understand it's not about you. It's not about what you did wrong or what you did right. It really truly is about that other person projecting onto you. And I personally think that's freeing, right? I can live my life with more confidence. I mean, and I struggle. I struggle with insecurities just from childhood stuff, right? Stories that I've overplayed in my head that I've carried through as an adult. And to be an empowered woman, we have to make the choice. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to give that person any more power in my head. I don't have time. I don't have space for that, right? So lifestyle choices is a big thing. If you can remove yourself from a situation, remove yourself. I don't care if it's a lifelong friend, right? Create boundaries for yourself, and understand that's perfectly okay. And there's just no way you're going to make everybody happy, right? The people that are meant to be in your tribe, the people that are meant to love you and see the goodness and inspire you and encourage you and lift you up, those are the people that are going to remain. Whether you show up and your hair is not done, or you got stuff in your teeth, or, you know, whatever it is, those aren't your people to worry about. Worry about just being you and understand that you are here for a reason. God loves you. God chose you for this time, here and now. So you have a reason. You have a purpose. So stop hiding, right? That's what I have to tell myself every day because of my own insecurities, right? This is not easy for me to get in front of you and say, hey, listen to me. I have this great message. But I've lived it. I've learned it. I've felt it. And so I need to share it. Who am I? How selfish am I if I don't get out there and share what has absolutely improved and changed my life, right? That took me from just such a negative state of being to just being able to just be happy and live my truth with freedom. Okay, that's my sermon for the day. Anyway, I hope you guys get something good out of this, because I don't do this for me. I do this because I feel like there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of hurting, there's a lot of suffering going on in the world today, and really we can make a huge impact on people's lives. And the oils are something that have just been amazing in my life, in my children's life. They have, they've healed those negative emotions that I've kept stored. And so let's talk about those things. So we're just going to run through a couple more things. Exercise, right? Exercise is a big thing, whatever that is for you. For me, I love to lift weights. I do. It just, for whatever reason, whatever my history is, maybe it's because I feel stronger. I don't feel so weak, like I can handle myself. I don't know. But I love to lift weights. And cardio, yeah, I don't love it so much, but I do it because it does get those endorphins going, right? And that does affect our mood and our state of being and our emotions and, you know, all those good stuff. Meditation. Meditation, you know, I always thought, like, that's such a weird thing. It's so woo-woo. Like, what is meditation? You want me to sit there and go, like, no, that's whatever, right? No. So meditation, though, really what it is just training your mind to slow down and just be in a world that asks us to be 10 different places all at once, trying to get our attention every which way, right? So meditation is just simply training our brain to settle in and just to be present, right? To see past all this other stuff and just be. And meditation, there are oils that can help get you into that state. For me, like I said, I love the yoga collection, which is interesting. There's one oil that I don't love in it, but you have to find the oil that works for you. But the two oils for me for meditation is align and anchor. And to me, it simply means to align with my higher purpose, my higher calling, and to really just anchor in to that knowing, right? And that's what I use my meditation for, and prayer and journaling, and those just quieting our minds and just being. And did I talk about sleep? I don't think I talked about sleep yet. So Jen, you're going to appreciate this one. Think about those babies of yours, right? Or if you've got young children or our older kids or our husbands, right? Or our significant others. Or us, right? When we don't have enough sleep, or the babies don't have enough sleep, what happens, right? When they're teething and they get really cranky, or they got a little tummy stuff, right? And they're not sleeping, they get really cranky. And think about that as for ourselves. When we don't get enough sleep at the right times, it does affect our emotions. It does affect our moods. I think of my husband. My poor husband worked graveyards for a couple of years, and sorry, babe, but he was not nice to be around, right? He was really cranky. And that's because we have a particular time our body is meant to be sleeping. So in bed by 10 o'clock, right? Not on our phones, not on our computers, not checking Instagram or Facebook or anything, but really just preparing ourselves for sleep. And one of the oils, I didn't bring it in here with me. One of the oils that I use and love for sleep is Serenity. Serenity, I feel like I just shower myself in it as I put it behind my neck, on my chest, on the back, on the bottom of my feet. And yes, we do. We all get grumpy. Jen says we all get grumpy and on edge. And it's true, right? I mean, yes, you know, right? With a newborn, you're probably not getting the sleep that you could be getting. So for you, it's going to be giving yourself that little bit of grace and understanding that this is just a season in your life, right? It's enjoy that baby, right? And I know you do. I know you do. I just think back about when I was raising the little ones, and at times just having just these days. And I wish I could tell you that it was all perfect all the time, and it just wasn't. And that's where that grace and love and compassion comes in for ourselves. And yeah, so sleep when you can, and try your best to be able to be in bed 10 o'clock, lights down, get into a rhythm, get into a routine of getting your mind prepared for sleep. And that's one of the most powerful things you can do, is really concentrate on your sleep. Yes, we have perfect days too. I love that. See, I love that. Yes, it's all about the mind and how we think about things, right? Okay, so then what else? Okay, another big one is reducing toxic load. So where did I write my numbers down? I don't know where my number is. But there is a whole lot of toxins that we are exposed to every single day. I want to say it's like 80 million. Maybe somebody can look that up. My friend Lauren, she's my research queen. And hopefully, Lauren, if you see this, you will look that up and let us know. So as women, we put it on our face, we use it on our hair, we use it on our body, and everything that we put on our body is absorbed into our bloodstream. Everything that we breathe is absorbed into our bloodstream. Everything that we eat, drink, the plastics, right? All of those things break down and can cause havoc in our body, right? So one of the best things you can do for yourself is just reducing toxic load. So replacing your chemical cleaners with the On Guard line that's all natural, that has none of the harmful stuff in it. Using lemon essential oils in your water, right? To just help support your body's natural detoxification abilities. And the thing is, I have to say this because if you're new, understanding, do not, and I know you guys have heard me, those of you that have been with me have heard me, do not ingest other oils. They do not go through the screening process. They do not go through the quality testing that doTERRA puts their oils through. So when I do say ingesting of the oils, only doTERRA and only the ones that are marked. The bottles will have an eye on them, or it will say, you know, internal take with 4 ounces of water or so forth. So be sure, please hear me when I'm talking ingesting. It's only doTERRA and only the ones that are meant to be ingested, okay? Yeah. And then there's another thing. The Cleanse and Restore through doTERRA is meant to reduce, specifically to reduce the toxic load. You have GX Assist, which goes in and helps to balance out the gut bacteria. You have the probiotics that come along with it. You have the Zendocrine that helps to flush everything out. And when I say flush everything, I don't mean like go to the bathroom. I mean like on a cellular level, supporting your body's natural abilities. Because that's really what nutrition, sleep, meditation, exercise, the oils. It's all just about supporting our body that's this magnificent machine that wants to work the way it's supposed to. But when you think about toxic load, think about a visual. So I have 3 girls, right? We have 3 girls in the house still. At one time it was 4. And our shower drains get so nasty and clogged, right? So think about that visual for a moment. If you can think about your body being that drain and the toxins that we put in, that we breathe, that we put on our skin, that's the hair that gets clogged in the drain. And if you think about that, what happens, right? It slows down the draining of the water, and then eventually it won't drain. And it's the same idea with our body. If we're constantly putting in these toxic overburdens, then, you know, with non-organic food, with processed food, with stress, with the chemicals we put on our skin, eventually we get backed up, right? Eventually that water is not going to drain. So that's where the cleanse and restore comes in. That's where, like, I'm doing the 14-day reset, where it's 14 days. These are the foods you eat. This is how you prepare them. This is what you buy. It takes the guesswork out of it, and you just get to go, okay, this is what I need to eat now. This is what I get to eat. And it's really simplified for you, and it's meant to detox your body to get it into a place where it's functioning optimally, right? And as a busy woman, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about, well, what am I going to make this week? What am I going to buy? What am I going to eat? What am I going to do? So these are all just tools to help you really function at a level that helps you feel good. Because when you have the energy, when you're eating the foods, when you're doing these lifestyle things, you feel good. And when you feel good, you're happy. And when you're happy, you get a lot of great things, right? You get relationships that you want, you get the career that you want, you get to just feel amazing, right? You get to feel how you want to feel. And that's all emotions are, is just a state of being and how we feel, right? So, okay. I'm going to, let's see. We've talked about relationships. We've talked about sleep, meditation, reducing toxic load. Do we have any questions about those things? If you do, post them, and I will do my best to answer. Okay. So moving on. So coming up on the idea of relationships, something I wrote down here and put down is the most important relationship you can have is with yourself, right? And if you value yourself enough to choose the foods that support you, make the time to exercise, make the time to sleep, take those few minutes to do whatever it is you need to do, and understand your value as yourself, your own personal worth. It makes huge, huge impacts in your life. And if you're raising children, that trickles over to your children. And understanding that it's okay to make time for you. It's okay to make time to take care of your health. Because the thing that I believe is, if we don't take time for us, something will make us, right? Whether it's an illness, whether it's a job that we hate, that we're so stressed out we just can't take it anymore, whether it's a relationship that is just terrible, right, that we remain in for some reason. When we take care of us and we practice on knowing our own worth, it opens up so much for us, right, in how we feel. And that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about emotions, we're talking about mood, and how we want to feel. And so understanding you are of great value, and it's okay to take time for you. It's okay. Like, I love, Jen, that you went to Glen Ivy. Like, you need to do those things because it refills your cup, and if you don't have a full cup, how do you continue to pour, right? Pour out to love the other people around you, because we're women. That's what we do. We care for so many around us that we have to take care of us, right? Okay. Let's see. Keep moving on. So let's talk about, I don't know where we are on time. I always feel like I need to rush through these things, but I don't want to rush through these because there's some oils that I do want to go over specifically for you today. We are going to be talking about emotional aromatherapy from here on out. As long as you understand your foundations, that now we have the oils that can inspire certain feelings. And that's what we're going to talk about now. You guys ready? Okay. So there's two questions. The first question being, what do you want to feel less of, right? Some of you got on and posted what you wanted to feel less of. And so we're going to talk about those emotions. What do you want to feel less of? Is it being disinterested, discouraged? I always go to the positive, so I wrote down all the positives. But we do need to address the negative, right? And that we don't want to feel this way. We don't want to feel discontent or bitter or anger, ashamed, hurt, grieving, worried, fearful, anxious, insecure, overwhelmed, right? That's one of those feelings I get, overwhelmed. And now I want to take you into a state of how do you really want to feel? How do you truly want to feel? When we're in those moments, we can stop our, loss of control, right? And what does that do to you? Well, how does that affect you when you feel out of control, right? Or when you feel controlled by something other than your choices, you feel like a victim, right? Sometimes we have that victim mentality because we've gone through things that have stored within us and it triggers up other feelings and emotions. So let's talk about that, right? So now let's replace that feeling of loss of control or the negatives, and let's address them with something else. How do we want to feel? So ask yourself, right? And I encourage you, if you're watching this now and don't have a pen and paper, to go back again and with a pen, a paper. I am a huge journaler because it stores things in my brain that I would otherwise not. Or I'm listening to something as I'm doing something else where I'm not fully present. So please, if you can, next time, grab a notebook, a pen, and take notes, right? And ask yourself these three, right? So we started it off. What is your intention? What do you want to get out of this call, out of this class? And then the next one, what do I want to feel less of, right? What negative do I want to let go of? What do I want to feel less of? And so now the next question is, what do you want to feel more of? What do you want to feel? Some of the positives are cheer and uplifted, enthusiastic, lighthearted, resilient. For me, I want to feel just in tune and empowered and just living my full truth with integrity, right? That's the feeling I want to feel in me. Confident, courageous. I want to have belief, right? You want to feel empowered, excited, joyful, happy, right? Creative. Those are the feelings we want to feel. So step one, ask yourself, what do you want less of? Step two, what do you want to feel more of? And then the next step you're going to do is you're going to pick an oil that feels right to you. So today I just got the aromatherapy. We're just going to focus on this particular kit just because it makes everything very simple, because you have this wheel, right? And on the inner side of this wheel is it tells you the negative feelings that you want to move away from. And then you pick the oil that corresponds with the wheel and how you want to feel. And we're going to cover that today, specifically with these oils. The 5 oils are going to be Motivate, which I really love that one, with arbor vitae. It smells so divine. Cheer, which I love to share this with the women in my family because a lot of times they're just struggling. So that's my favorite to give to everybody. Passion, which today is my 14-year wedding anniversary. And because we have kids, my husband and I, my kids were running all over the place, right? We're in gymnastics, taekwondo, everything you can think of, but they're amazing, so we do it. So we went out to dinner last night, and so I got my hot pants on, I got my high heels, I was in control of how I wanted to feel, right? And I didn't want to feel frumpy. I wanted to feel passionate, and I wanted to feel sexy and confident going out with my husband. Because have you seen him? He's stinking hot, okay? Seriously though, we have that control, right? We can be empowered by our choices, and we can choose clothes that make us feel good. We can choose to do our hair. We can choose to do our makeup. We can choose to not wear makeup, right? You can choose how you want to feel. Today I've got my yoga pants, I'm barefoot, I got my purple on because I wanted to feel grounded and living and speaking from my heart and in truth, right? So anyway, I put Passion on last night because I wanted to feel that little sassy spiciness. Your next oil is Forgive and Console and Peace. And so we're going to cover these 5. Are you still with me here? All right. So, you know, there's a little bit of intuition that goes along with choosing the oils, and that you may have, 5 different oils you can choose from. And so how do you choose which one really resonates with you? You just open the cap. That's all I can say. You open the cap and you use them. For some reason, Peace to me just pushes me away. So I know that's not the oil I need, right? So really just trusting, and that you open that cap and trust in the intuition. Your body knows what you need. So match your emotion to the corresponding oil. So we're going to run through these real sort of quickly, sort of not quickly, because I want to make sure that we get all of this information to you. And let's see. So the first oil is, all right, the feelings we want to feel. So if we want to move away, now let's do this, right? Number 1, we said we want to move away from what we don't want to feel. So let's start with Motivate, the encouraging blend. So the Motivate has a blend of mints and citrus. And so when you're choosing oils, each property within that oil has a certain effect on your mood. So mints tend and citruses tend to be uplifting. So if you can just think of uplifting mood, you need a mint and you need an orange. So like peppermint and wild orange is a beautiful combination if you've got one of the starter kits and you don't have these oils. Mint and orange. So, or lime or lemon or grapefruit or any of the citrus family. So peppermint, wild orange, and diffusing that, it's going to lift your mood. It's going to stimulate circulation with the peppermint. So we want to move away from feelings of anxiousness, insecure, apathetic, discouraged, gloomy, distressed, right? We want to move away from those. But how do we want to feel? We want to feel confident. We want to feel courage, trust, belief. You want to have drive. You want to get motivated, right? Let's do this thing. That's the Motivate. So then the next oil, what we want to move away from, right? We don't want to feel that way. Let's just change. Let's shift. And there is a absolute chemical change and response in your body when you use these oils that changes the dynamics, the cells in your body the minute you pop that cap and you inhale. And the way that it works is it just goes right into past your blood barrier and right into the brain that sends signals, and it just helps us to feel better. So we're moving away from feelings of being discouraged, gloomy, distressed, somber, right? Somber, like, life is boring. I'm just this, right? Distressed, bored. How do we want to feel? We want to feel optimistic, right? We're looking for the good in things. We want to see the beauty. We want to see God in all things, right? We want to see the light. So cheer, optimistic, cheerful, happy, right? We want to be happy. Who doesn't want to be happy? Lighthearted, so maybe not taking things so seriously. That's me. I am a sensitive soul, and I tend to take things a little too seriously. But I'm working on it, right? So we want to be resilient and enthusiastic. The oil that you would choose would be cheer. This little baby right here. Cheer. The sunshine oil. The next one is passion. Oh, here, citrus and spices. So in case you don't have this particular kit, you're going to choose a citrus and a spice. So anything, trying to think of a spice that, like oregano, but that's hot, and I don't put that in the diffuser. The thing is hot. I can't off the top of my brain right now. Oh, cinnamon. There you go. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is a spice. Cinnamon bark, clove. I can't think of any more. Sorry. If I think of any, I'll post them. So anyway, so spice and citrus, that combination is going to be your uplifting, cheerful blend. And then the next thing is passion. That's mine. That's mine. Go out with my husband. Or when I'm getting ready to speak, right? When I'm getting ready to teach a class, I want to speak with passion, with conviction in what I've experienced and what I know. So I go to passion, right? Passion. We want to move away from feelings of just being bored, disinterested, somber, discontented, right? Everybody wants to be content, discontented, bitter, and angry. You know, when you say those words, like I just feel like, I don't want to feel that way. So what can you do? Passion, the inspiring blend, what it's going to create feelings of is daring and passionate, joyful, excited, spontaneous. Who doesn't love to be spontaneous? That's probably the Leo in me. I mean, I like to be in control. But I also like to be spontaneous. I love that rush and just that feeling of being ignited and full of life. And, okay, creative and inspired. So this is another good one when I'm getting ready to write my blog post and my newsletters. And if you're not on there, go to nourishthegift.com, download your 5-day clean eating free. And each week you're going to get, Wednesday mornings, you get a newsletter. And I mean, if you've watched me, if you've been following me, you know I'm totally all about empowering women. I'm all about inspiration and understanding our value and self-worth. And yes, it's about weight loss, but it's kind of like a Trojan horse. I was just having this conversation with my friend and client. She's like, I don't want to talk about, because she was writing a testimony. And she's like, I don't want to talk about my weight loss. I'm like, honey, it is never, ever about weight loss. It is about finding who you are in the process and to learning that you are valuable, you are worthy, you are not your weight. You are not the size of your body. You are not valuable based on the number on the scale, right? And so it is kind of a Trojan horse that, yeah, it's about weight loss. I'll help you lose weight. But more importantly, it's just about feeling how you want to feel in freedom and living a life of abundance. So sign up. and you'll get the replays of the videos. You will get essential oil tips. You will get nutrition tips, words of encouragement, all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, moving on. Passion, a good one. So spices and herbs and grasses on that one. So like cinnamon, I'm trying to think of what you have in balance is a good one for that too. That one's got some herbs and grasses and trees. It's very grounding. So that's going to move us to our next oil. So the next oil is forgive. And so if we're feeling discontented, bitter, angry, ashamed, sad, and grieving, so, right, we have, stuff happens, right? We have things in our lives that don't go as planned that we can't control. You know, lost a loved one, or a loss of a job, or home, or things just not going the way we would like them to go. And honestly, we aren't in control of those things. But what we can be in control of is how we manage those emotions and how they affect us physically, mentally, spiritually. Okay? So let's see here. Let me make sure I got, okay. So with forgive, you know, we want to let go of those ashamed feelings, sad feelings, angry feelings. And, you know, we all feel them, right? I'm not alone. Like, I'd love to say in the 14 years of my marriage that it's been perfect and I've never didn't like my husband and never been angry at him, but that's just not the case, right? The marriage is about being angry and working through, communicating, figuring things out, and moving past those, right? And a lot of times we need to work on ourselves. I know for me, I'd like point my finger at him and say, you need to change, you need to change. But it was me that needed to change, and then it influenced who he was. So anyway, he just texted me, did you do the workshop? Yes, honey, and I'm talking about you. Shh, no, he watches my videos. All right, so forgive. So the forgive oil is going to promote feelings of being content, relieved, charitable, patient, accepting, and gracious. So full of grace. And I would even encourage you as a mother, you know, to use this oil for yourself when we just need to cut ourselves some grace, right? Or cut ourselves some slack, as they say. But and a more empowering word is just being full of grace, understanding that things are not going to go as planned. And that's okay, right? We move past them, and we are never going to be perfect every single part of the day. And maybe a little forgive is what you need. I mean, it smells amazing. It's very, it's very renewing, very, very, for a visual, like the grass coming up and growing. I don't know, but it just smells amazing and it feels amazing. So that's forgive. The next one is the console blend. So if you are feeling ashamed, sad, grieving, hurt, worried, right? So maybe when you feel a loss of control, maybe you're worried about something, maybe you're hurt about something, or you're fearful. You know, I've had experiences in my life where I was feeling out of control. I thought I didn't have a choice in the matter, but I did. And I took myself out of that situation, as hard as it was, and, you know, I'm here. And it was scary, and it really sucked, excuse my bluntness, right? But it did. It was terrible. And I am not somebody who doesn't like to be in control. And so when I feel out of control, it just messes me up from head to toe. Am I right? Right? And so this is something we can go to, is the consoling blend. And the console blend is a comforting blend, because sometimes there are situations where we feel like we can't get out of. So in those situations, you're going to use the comforting blend. And the comforting blend, oh, where did my paper go? It's here. So the comforting blend is going to promote feelings of being hopeful, being sustained, feeling whole, comforted, reconciled, revived, right? And it's purple, which is my favorite color. And it's hard to describe. Wish you could smell it. If we were in a class, I'd pass it around you and you would be able to experience the oils for yourself. So if you're local and you want to do a class, hit me up and I will come over and teach a class. Unless you have an upline under somebody else, guess you go to them and I'm sure they will help you, okay? If you don't and you want some free oils and you don't have a wholesale account already, we need to talk, right? And if you are part of my people and somebody else offers you oils, you got to say, nope, Jen's my gal. She supports me 100%. She is there. And I do lots of fun stuff for my people. Okay, so Console smells amazing. Better yet, it's going to promote feelings of how you want to feel. All right, ladies, let me make sure on my notes. So we know it's easy as 1, 2, 3. What do you want to move away from? How do you want to feel? And then choose a corresponding oil. After, of course, you made the lifestyle changes. You're eating the right foods. You're detoxing your body. You're getting the sleep. You're taking time for yourself. That meditation, maybe meditation for you is a run, right? But you're moving your body. You're sleeping the way you're supposed to. You're choosing, like, I've got this green juice. Ooh, it's kind of ugly because it's settled. But I start my day, every day, green juice, right? Or green smoothie, because it gives me those greens that purify my blood. It gives me energy. I don't have the crash. So choose the foods that support you and spend time, right? One of the things I love about doTERRA, and you're going to appreciate this, Jen, because I know that you just signed up, is the culture that is in doTERRA. Like some of the women that I've met across the lines that we're not even on the same teams, but they are the most supportive women and they just inspire me every single day. And if we can just learn to attach ourselves to the people that we want to be more like, if they have something that you're like, gosh, what do they have, right? Attach yourself to them and learn from them. Understand that don't push away. I mean, for me, because this is something I was guilty about, I would look at somebody who is successful and strong and appeared to have everything together. And there was like this insecurity in me that I would push away from it. Like, oh, I don't like the way I feel because I felt smaller. But the thing is, if we can oh, here's the dogs again. Oh my goodness. If you guys were on here last week, you know, at least I let one in. Now I got one that's, okay, I'm not going to open the door for her. She's going to bark. Watch. But anyway, where was I going? Now I lost my train of thought. Anyway, what I'm saying is those women do not have it all together, right? It's really easy. Like I put on this little fancy light so that you can't see all my deep wrinkles because it's what I need to get in front of you so I can feel a little bit more confident. And understand, you know, like 5 minutes before I got on this call, my hair was a mess and I just had it up in a bun and I had to take it down and put a curling iron in it, right? And we don't have our stuff together. Nobody has their stuff 100% together. But the thing about doTERRA and the thing about being in this particular business is it encourages you to grow and it gives you tools to help you feel like you can. It gives you friendships that inspire you and move you forward to where you want to be. It allows us to dream and to have goals that, for me, that inspires me to get out of bed every single day. It inspires me to think like, whose life am I going to change today? I was listening to a podcast the other day and someone said, could you imagine your life if you didn't have these oils? And I've been using these babies for 7 years. 7 years. And no, during that 7 years, did I share them with people all the time? No. But when I take it off myself and put it into a perspective, like These oils have literally changed our lives. And so of course I need to share them. It's not icky. It's not coming from a place of selfishness. It's selfish to keep them to myself. And that dog is gonna keep scratching, so I have to let her in. But yeah, if you don't already have an account, please let's chat. I will help you get the biggest savings, anywhere from 30%. Actually, I think it's more. Well, you get your 25% off with wholesale, but then you can get anywhere from up to 50% back in your oil orders. So anyway, we will talk about it. Contact me. Love you guys. Leave a comment. Tell me what you got most out of this. And also just talk to me about what you want to learn more about in later broadcasts. So you guys, mwah, love you all. Have a blessed week. And we will see you in the group. All right. Bye, guys.